Okay, let's take a look at the Slingsby T67 Firefly. It's an aerobatic aircraft, two-seater, originally produced as the RF6. A British-built aircraft, built in Kirby Moorside, Yorkshire, England. It's successfully used in the UK Armed Forces, and it's the aircraft that Prince Harry first did his solo flight. The Royal Air Force used 22 Slingsby T67M 260s as their basic trainer between 1995 and 2010. It's regarded as a good military trainer and aerobatic aircraft, although the Americans might disagree with you. More on that coming up. However, Tom Cassels has and flies a Slingsby Firefly, and he is a British aerobatic champion. The Slingsby, if it is designated with an M, then that is a military variant of the aircraft. The Slingsby T67M was one of the most produced, along with the T3A variant, which is actually very similar. All in all, across all the different variants, there was a total of 250 aircraft that have been built. Some stats on the aircraft then: it is a two-seater with an empty weight of 1,750 pounds or 794 kilograms, with a max takeoff weight of 2,550 pounds or 1,157 kilograms. These next stats are for the beastly 260 horsepower version, so the never exceed speed 195 knots, maximum speed 152 knots, cruise speed 140 knots, stalling speed 54 knots, we've got a range of 407 nautical miles, service ceiling of 19,000 feet, remember your oxygen, and a rate of climb of 1,380 feet per minute. Okay, let's go over the variants. The very first one being the RF6B, which was the first one built. It was built with a Rolls-Royce Continental engine of 100 horsepower. 43 of these were built, and it was the forerunner production series to the Slingsby. Slingsby then bought the development rights to the RF6B, and then they renamed it the Slingsby T67. First flown on the 5th of December 1982 and certified on the 2nd of August 1983. Originally designed as a glass-reinforced plastic aircraft for military training, the T67M had a 160 horsepower fuel-injected Lycoming engine with a two-blade Hoffman constant speed propeller with a single-piece canopy, and the fuel-injected engine with inverted fuel and oil systems allowed the aircraft to perform sustained negative G. But inverted spins were never actually formally approved. Thankfully, because they would probably make me feel queasy. After the T67M, it was time for the T67B, first flown on the 16th of April 1981 and certified on the 18th of September 1984. The T67B was effectively the T67A, but with a glass fibre reinforced plastic without the uprated engine and propeller of the M series. They have a 118 horsepower engine, two-blade fixed prop, and a total of 14 67Bs were produced. Back to the military variants now. The T67M Mark II Firefly, certified on the 20th of December 1985, had a fuel-injected 160 brake engine and a two-blade constant speed prop with inverted fuel and oil systems. For military training, which of course means the military pilots were lucky enough to experience those negative Gs. This was the first variant that actually replaced the single-piece canopy with a T67M two-piece design and single fuselage fuel tank with two larger tanks in the wings. After this, it was time for more power. Certified on the 19th of June 1987, the T67M 200 Firefly was produced, and they stuck a 200 horsepower engine into this one with a three-blade Hoffman propeller, again inverted fuel and oil systems, and a total of 26 of these T67M 200s were produced. Back to the civilian Firefly next, the T67C Firefly, certified on the 15th of December 1987, and this was the last of the civilian variants. Based on the T67B with a increased 160 horsepower engine, but without the fuel-injected and inverted flight systems found on the M series, so I'm sorry civilians, less negative G for you. but at least you get to hold on to your lunch. Okay, now we're going beast mode for the Firefly, the T67 M260. Certified on the 11th of November 1993, this had a 6-cylinder 260 horsepower engine, again with a 3-blade constant speed propeller. These were used to train hundreds of RAF and British Army and other foreign Commonwealth pilots through their flight training school right up until late 2010, and a total of 51 of these were created. Then the T67 M260 T3A Firefly, certified on 15th of December 1993, was the last military version and completely bought by the United States Air Force. They bought 114 of these, which were created and purchased by the USA Air Force. Because the T67 M260 T3A Firefly is quite a mouthful, they just call it the T3A. So what's the difference between a T3A and a T67 M260? Well, it was the addition of air conditioning, because it does get pretty hot over in the States. Obviously wasn't needed in the UK. I don't think the Americans were too happy with this purchase, because they decided to scrap the whole idea after buying 114. After 3 unfortunate and fatal accidents and 1 engine failure, they decided to ground the fleet in 1997, and then they stored them without maintenance, and then decided that they were no longer airworthy and destroyed them in 2006. What a shame. This 114 of them were the best version of the Slingsby Firefly, and unfortunately now all destroyed. After investigations, the United States Air Force eventually attributed the accidents primarily down to pilot error rather than the aircraft. This is a real shame, that so many great variants of the Slingsby Firefly were destroyed. There are many Slingsby Fireflies still on the market today in Civilian Street. It is actually possible to buy one, and as I mentioned at the start of this video, Tom Cassels, a British aerobatic champion, regularly flies his Slingsby Firefly and still does aerobatics in it. So in brief, that is the Slingsby T67 Firefly, and to be honest, I want one. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're in the market for a T67 Firefly, please check out findaircraftforsale.com. It is set up for the UK and the United States primarily. It's got an easy to filter and search function to go straight to your area of the world. If you're in the UK, it's simple. You just go to the map search and see what there is. And if you're in the US, again, simple, go to the map search and see what there is. That concludes the Slingsby T67 Firefly. Happy flying.